What is it with you and women? It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Thoreau Smiley, rookie, fresh from Baltimore. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, pretty boy.
Not a sailor, and I'm not a cop. I'm Brian Lesh.
I am Alaric Weber, Stallion of the Cimarron.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence.
Oh, did I watch the wrong movie?
You watched a cartoon horse movie instead.
And this is a Harmless Phosphorescence. This is the podcast and the YouTube channel where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, and we tell you all about it. And guys, this show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Just head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We've got tons of bonus content there, including a Star Wars miniseries, holiday shows, a personal history of sound, which is about albums that are important to us. We've got the American Top 4, where we recommend songs to you every week. And we got our monthly movie episodes. Those come out every month, and it only costs $1 to watch them. We've got a bunch on there now. This month, we're going to be doing a new one on American Graffiti. So head on over, patreon.com/harmlessentertainment, and you too can join in the fun and be a patron. This week, however, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching The Spirit.
What are you? That's what the woman asked me. Am I some sort of ghost? I still move. I still breathe. I'm still alive. The bad guys are winning.
Right now, we got our hands full.
You're a mess. 3 bullets.
Straight through me.
Last night you were 20 minutes from the morgue, and now look at you.
You have to do something about the spirit. Our profits are down 20%.
Spirit thinks he can't stay hurt. I'm getting El Spirito dead while I still can.
Something's going down here. Could be big. Octopus big.
I'm the octopus. I got 8 of everything. You're not making this easy. Brought in a specialist. Someone to seal the deal. She got a thing for the bling.
Sans serif.
So you want me to be your girl?
There probably isn't a law in the books that you wouldn't break.
Do I look like a good girl?
Somebody get me a tie, and it sure as hell better be red.
We are locked and loaded.
Is every damn woman in this damn hellhole out of her damn mind?
No, sir. We're just equipped.
I'm gonna kill you all kinds dead. I'm on my way.
Christmas. It was a Christmas movie.
Did you see the URL for the movie website? My City Screams, which leads me to my theory that this man is having sex with the city.
He is. He's putting his penis inside of manholes and bricks, like holes in walls. Like he's just literally fucking the city.
Yeah.
Oh God. The Spirit. Released December 25th, 2008.
No. You said a Christmas movie. I was like, oh, December 2nd.
No, literally.
Christmas Day. That is a big day. A
Yeah.
lot of families go to the movies on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And they were.
I wonder how many people mistakenly thought this was a Christmas movie. Because the spirit.
Oh, the spirit of Christmas.
Of the holidays,
Right.
you know?
I wonder how many people thought this was for mass consumption. It was not.
I wonder how many people thought this movie was worth watching in any way whatsoever.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah. Well, okay, it cost $60 million and took in a total of $39 million. So it flopped.
Wow.
Big flop, Christmas 2008.
Jesus weighs in.
Yeah.
No good.
It did open against some competition, which means it's time for us to talk about the box office top 10 game. Here it is, guys. This is the game where I will count down the top 10 movies of Christmas week 2008. You guys will try to guess what movie I'm describing based on the Box Office Mojo description. And you're also going to try to guess where the spirit opened. I don't know. Al, I'll have you go first. I don't think you go first very often. Where do you think this opened?
7.
Al goes 7. Josh, what are you thinking?
7's good.
You're going to take 7 also?
I just want to piggyback on what he's saying. And 8.
Josh goes 8.
If this made $39 million, I think it made it almost all of it Christmas weekend. I'm going to go with number 4.
All right.
Yeah, there's no way this had good word of mouth.
No.
Yeah.
And I have some points to make. Yeah, later on.
Yes, I agree. So, all right, here we go. The box office top 10 game. Coming in at number 10. A Catholic school principal questions a priest's ambiguous relationship with a troubled young student.
This is that movie starring Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, right?
Yeah, basically. This looks like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
So very, very serious.
Yeah, it was. It won a lot of awards. It was one of his last. I can't remember. It's one word, right? Like the witness or the sacrament.
It is one word. Everybody guess one word.
Oh, we got a guess over here. Doubt.
Al?
Yeah, Andrea guessed doubt.
Yeah.
But it's doubt. I'm not going to, Our game is ruined.
Doubt.
Thanks a lot, Andrea.
Thanks a lot.
For being right.
I was going to go with perseverance.
But I gave up.
And I was going to go with lollipop.
Now we're just naming things. Okay.
Yeah, that's number 10 for the week. Coming in at number 9. Rookie cop Denny Colt returns from the beyond as the Spirit, a hero whose mission is to fight against the bad forces in Central City.
Opened at 9 and still made $39 million.
Opened at number 9. It took in $19 million this weekend, the Christmas weekend, which means another 20.
Almost half.
Yeah, it did half its money in the first weekend. Probably the rest it limped through for another couple months. But
just on star power of Samuel L. Jackson and Scarlett Johansson and Eva Mendes.
Yeah, in 2008.
Well, they became they became a bankable couple.
Yeah, they did.
So that's why it's hard to watch this shit, because you've seen Black Widow and Nick Fury.
And I mean, Sam Jackson is like just going balls to the wall with it. But Scarlett Johansson's acting like she's in like a high school like production of something. Like it's bad.
That's a good way to put it. I hope Colin Jost makes fun of her.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
right.
She's got a lot of natural charisma, but I thought she gave a terrible performance personally.
Yeah.
To me, this is like classic ScarJo before Black Widow happened. She was just so dry and everything.
She was just like reading. I could hear the lines on the page when she read it. Like,
well, maybe I'm coming out of some sort of closet here, but is she a good actor?
Yeah, she has her moments.
She can be, but she's not always.
So do my dogs. Yeah.
I mean, I love her personally. She's, like I said, like tons of personal charisma. She's ScarJo. I mean, what are you going to do? She's ScarJo. Yeah. She's awesome, but she's not always a great actress.
Yeah, I think she's better than, but she hovers in that Drew Barrymore area.
Yeah.
It's always delightful. but sometimes it's very wooden. But hey, nobody was wooden in this because of their acting abilities. I believe it was Frank Miller in his ship horror. Yeah.
See, I think maybe that's it. Maybe Scarlett Johansson needs a director who can bring the performance out.
Yeah.
Like getting the statue out of the brick of marble.
Right.
She was one of my favorite parts of this movie. I think the character demanded the performance she gave.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it fit the character as much as it could. Anyway.
Well, no. I understand the performance she was going for, and I agree that fit the character. I just don't think she achieved what she was going for because she was very, very wooden, like reading a script. It sounded like she was reading a script. That's what I thought. That's my opinion.
I just think you're taking this way too seriously, that's all.
I agree.
Thank you, Al.
What are we doing here?
To quote the movie.
Yeah. She was a bright spot. She had a cute little accent sometimes, and I wish she leaned into it because that would have made it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was kind of cute when she first shows up by the truck.
Back to the top 10. We're at number 8.
Oh yeah, we're still playing it.
Yeah, we're playing a game here, guys.
All right. I thought we were playing Monopoly.
Coming in at number 8, an alien visitor and his giant robot come to Earth.
Is Iron Giant?
No, it's not. That was like, what, 10 years ago?
Oh, Transformers?
No. But that also does fit the description.
Apollo 14, the new batch.
Any guesses, Al?
No.
The Day the Earth Stood Still. Keanu as what's his face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the robot's name? Gorn?
Something
like that.
Something. Yeah. And coming in at number 7, an unusually brave mouse helps to restore happiness.
I'd say any bravery is unusual.
The mouse, yeah. Happiness to a forlorn kingdom after making friends with a gentleman rat.
Is this Nim?
No.
The Rats of Narnia?
The Rats of Narnia. Whole sub-series.
It is animated.
Thank God.
Yeah. The Tale of Despero.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, which it wasn't bad. I had kids around 2008, so I saw a lot of kids' movies from that era.
It's a very charming book. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the movie wasn't bad. I have never read the book personally.
It's on my Kindle list. I'll get to it.
Coming in at number 6, a man with a fateful secret embarks on an extraordinary journey of redemption by forever changing the lives of 7 strangers. That's so big. That one, by the way, I did not change that description at all.
This is like a number of ounces or something, right?
It is, yeah.
Oh,
that's the general kind of area you're in, yeah.
So 7 grams.
Is it 7 grams? No,
it's not 7 grams. It's not grams.
It's what
think imperial.
Oh, yeah. It's what they proposed the soul weighs, right?
Yeah.
Which is
8.5 grams.
Ounces?
Not ounces.
I mean, I
ounces.
said grams.
Heavier. The whole
ounce.
7 pounds. Yes.
Oh wow. Stone.
Yeah. 7 leagues under the sea.
This is the one where he like gives people his organs after he dies, right?
I never saw it. It's Will Smith, but I never saw that one.
Yeah, I think this is the one where he wills out all of his organs.
Yeah, this was the era when Will Smith was trying to like make like these like very like spiritual kind of like Oscar baity movies.
Where he was almost a Scientologist.
Yeah, almost.
Like winking at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Edward James Olmos.
Coming in at number 5, a man challenges himself to say yes to everything.
Oh my gosh. Yes, man.
Yes, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, point for Josh. This is the first point score, even though we've had correct answers. Oh, Andrea also gets a point for ruining the game.
Oh, wow. I get 3/4 of a point.
Yeah. By law. Opening this week at number 4. Dramatization of the assassination and political coup plot by desperate renegade army officers.
Oh, this is the one about them trying to kill Hitler.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh,
This is Daniel
Inglourious
Craig.
Bastards?
Not Inglourious Bastards.
Valkyrie?
Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Like Project Valkyrie? Or, yeah.
It's just Valkyrie, yeah. But yeah, Project Valkyrie is what it was dramatizing.
Valkyrie, Bertinelli.
Tom Cruise, I believe.
Yeah, I was.
And
And you look at him and you're like, I don't believe he wants to stop the Nazis.
no, he's into this whole situation.
They're about self-actualization too.
Hitler had very few thetans. At number 3,
He
opening.
had none or all, one or the other.
Yeah, I don't know which. Opening at number 3 this week, the tale of a man who starts aging backwards with consequences. That's the
This is old
description.
Benji Button, right?
Yeah.
Old Benji.
The curious case thereof?
Yes, and so curious points all around. But in a few minutes, the points will disappear because they'll have aged into embryos. Has anyone actually read the short story that's based on? It's what's his face? That did Gatsby. Scott Fitzgerald. Has anyone read? I read the short story. It's about 2 pages long. But it's
about the height of Benjamin Button.
Yeah. It's really like I read it before the movie was being made. Like, so this was years and years and years ago, but it like really affected me. It's like a really like, wow, that's rough. That's a rough thing, especially like the ending is like everything faded into milky whiteness and he was no more. Like,
Wow.
all right, so
heavy-handed.
that was number 3. Coming in at number 2, I mean, it was F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Coming
It's
in
not
at
your fault.
coming in at number 2. A hotel handyman's life changes when the lavish stories he tells his niece and nephew start to magically come true.
There were 2 of these movies, though.
There
Big
were.
Fish.
Not Big Fish.
The other one?
There was an Eddie Murphy and an Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
One, right?
Big Fish was similar. Big Fish I don't think actually
Big
came
Fish,
true.
yeah.
I think we saw what he was saying.
Never saw it.
Oh, it was a good one. Big Fish was pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty good. Albert Finney. So is it the Sandler or the Murphy?
Sandler.
Is that one called Bedtime Stories?
Yes, it is. Bedtime Stories. A bedtime point for you, Josh.
Thanks. I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, neither did I. And opening at number 1 this week, a family learns important life lessons from their adorable but naughty and neurotic dog.
Oh my God. There are a lot of animals this week.
Starring Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, this is Marley and Me.
It is Marley and Me.
This is the one where they shoot the dog at the end, right?
The dog does die. I don't. So spoilers, everybody,
Oh,
for Marley
yeah.
and Me. But yeah,
Spoiler.
I don't know how. I never saw it. I just heard
I heard the
die.
dog ages backwards.
The Curious Case of Marley and Me.
Yeah, that would have made money.
All right, and that is the box office top 10, which brings us to the movie itself, Spirit. Al. Alaric
me.
Weber, will you tell us a little bit about the comics background?
No
I will, in
interrupting,
fact,
guys.
do that. All right, so from the comics, the Spirit is a masked crime fighter created by cartoonist Will Eisner. First appeared June 2nd, 1940. As the main feature of a 16-page newsprint comic book insert in the Sunday edition of Register and Tribune Syndicate newspapers.
How cool.
This was a move on the part of the papers to cash in on the comic book boom of the time.
Sensational.
The comic would be carried in 20 Sunday papers in the 40s with a circulation of 5 million copies.
Whoa.
The Spirit newspaper insert continued until October 5th of 1952. So the Spirit is a masked vigilante who fights crime with the blessing of Police Commissioner Dolan.
That dude was the commissioner?
Yeah. He was.
All right.
Formerly a young detective and criminologist named Denny Colt, who was presumably killed in the first 3 pages of the premiere comic story. It is later revealed to Commissioner Dolan that Colt had gone into suspended animation caused by an experiment of arch-villain Dr. Cobra.
He's a doctor.
Yeah. His true identity as Denny Colt is rarely referred to outside the first issue, the character being simply the Spirit. The Spirit stories explored a variety of styles from crime drama and noir to lighthearted adventure, mystery and horror to comedy and love stories, often with hybrid elements that twisted genre and reader expectations. The Spirit had the abilities of an outstanding athlete and hand-to-hand combatant, an almost superhuman endurance, and was a master detective. Superhuman longevity was added in later non-Eisner stories, and a healing factor was added for this movie.
Oh, for the movie.
Yeah. The Spirit's costume consisted of a blue domino mask, business suit, fedora, and gloves with a white shirt and red necktie.
Business suit.
He's up to business.
He's going out for business.
What are unemployed suits? I don't see the distinction. All right.
What I'm wearing right now.
Fair enough.
Though I am employed. Let's see. While his attire might change based on situation or locale, the Spirit is never seen without his blue mask and gloves.
Except in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. The Spirit stories have been published to the near present under houses such as Harvey Comics, Kitchen Sink Press, DC, IDW, and Dynamite Entertainment. Contributors have included Frank Miller, Brian Boland, John Byrne, Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, Neil Gaiman, Jeff Loeb, Sergio Aragonis, and Matt Wagner.
Wow.
Wow.
Not exactly lightweights.
No.
Nope. In later years, the character would have team-ups with Batman, the Rocketeer, Green Hornet, and Rima the Jungle Girl.
Rima?
One of these things is not like the others.
Rima.
The Spirit character originally operated in New York City, but the location was quickly changed to the fictional Central City.
Did New York try to sue him? Or?
Probably. I don't know, just so they could get away with not making it look like New York. They could draw it however they wanted. That's what I would think. Just why limit yourself?
That's right.
Other characters from the comics. We've already mentioned Police Commissioner Dolan. And we have Ellen Dolan, the commissioner's feisty proto-feminist daughter. Didn't say whether she was a doctor or not.
I am Carly.
Is that the like she's a doctor, so she's a proto-feminist? That's a weird
yeah,
a weird
a lady doctor. Yeah. Well, not of Sarah Paulson though. But we'll get there.
We have Lorelei Rocks, an apparent siren who appeared in a single story in 1948 and subsequent DC stories in the 2000s.
Oh, wait, she's supposed to be a siren?
She's very siren-like in this movie.
She is. I should have put that.
They did not mention her as being a siren. They just said she was death.
Yeah. So, but that makes sense with all of the Greek like stuff they have going on. I never put that together, but yeah.
The Argo, yeah.
Then we have the octopus, the spirit's arch enemy. Criminal mastermind and master of disguise, the octopus never shows his real face, though he is identified by his distinctive purple gloves.
Well, this octopus shows his face up in your face.
Yes.
Yeah. Sand Seraph, childhood friend of Denny Colt. Working in espionage, she usually ends up on the opposite side of the law from the spirit, despite knowing his true identity. And then we have Silken Floss, a nuclear physicist and a surgeon, an accomplice to the octopus.
How do those things intersect? How do you get both of those degrees? That's
right.
Nuclear physicist and a surgeon. The base needed both.
Yeah.
She was a phoenix. Yeah. In the university of
Phoenix. I just wanted to briefly mention Will Eisner, who was the original artist of the Spirit. Is kind of one of the all-time legendary comic artists. Yeah. He basically invented the graphic novel in the 70s with a contract with God that came out in 1978. The Comic Book Hall of Fame is called the Will Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there's an award, I believe, even named after him.
He's kind of
the Peabody, but for comics.
Yeah, he's kind of like the guy of guys. So, all right. Thank you very much, Al.
Wow.
That brings us to the film itself, our production background.
I'm sorry, hold up. Those were the only characters that came from. So, like, what about Logos, Ethos, Pathos? That seemed very Will Eisner-y to me. Do you know what I mean?
In my
henchman.
Yeah.
I missed the answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Al. You cut out a bit there. What was that?
In the limited research that I performed, I did not see those characters.
Okay.
Fair enough.
The screen printing goons. I don't know what else to call them.
Yeah, they must have spent a lot of time, a lot of money on t-shirts.
So they took side jobs like they did soccer leagues in Central City.
Yeah. All right. All right. The movie The Spirit was written and directed by Frank Miller. So Frank Miller.
He's like he's like an angry, shitty Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, that's a good description.
They even look similar, but yeah, like just with a chip on his shoulder. Because Neil Gaiman is famously such a nice person.
Yeah.
So open creatively. And nobody's tried really successfully to bring his shit to work, but
Frank Miller's kind of like a neckbeardy incel version of like Neil Gaiman.
Oh my God, I have a huge incel point about this movie, but yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean he's best known as a comic book writer and artist. He did The Dark Knight Returns, Sin City, 300. He worked on a lot of titles over the years. A lot of Batman stuff. Wolverine. Daredevil, Elektra. He did a lot of. That's what he's mostly known for. Comics.
He created Elektra, I believe, right?
I think so.
Or was that no? Alan Moore didn't do.
Al,
I think he did.
You did the research on our Elektra episode. Do you remember?
I believe that was correct. That, yeah.
Because he created what are they? The Band of the Hand or the Foot Clan?
The Band of the Hand.
He created the band. So yeah. This was his passion project. He was a huge Spirit fan, a huge Will Eisner fan, and this was his passion project, and they let him write and direct this movie and gave him $60 million.
Yeah.
Somehow.
You can tell it's a passion project. You could tell that he cared.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, he made a movie out of his storyboards.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which I know that sounds ridiculous. Everyone does, but no, that's supposed to be a general idea. But no, he wanted. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, this is well, and he clearly, you can tell he doesn't have directing experience in
None.
this. Like,
Yeah.
it's barely directed. It's mostly just comic book frames.
Yeah.
And the actors just kind of show up and do what they're going to do.
Which isn't a lot.
No, it's not. Some of them, it's not a lot. Like I said, Sam Jackson just brought it because he's Sam Jackson, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's odd. The script is terrible, and the man is known for his writing. That's why we know and like him at all.
Yeah. God. So yeah. This movie had been in development since the 70s. William Friedkin was attached to it at one point. Brad Bird, Gary Kurtz.
Wow.
Lots of people. John Turman, who's a screenwriter. He's tons and tons of credits. He wrote tons and tons of writing. As a screenwriter, he did The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, Hulk, and Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, Frank Miller eventually got backing and got this thing made.
And this is one of those, I'm sorry to say, but some movies, they couldn't have been made until technology caught up to a certain point. This Spirit movie could have been a practical effects movie made at any of the times you mentioned and been way better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like
could have made this in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. William Friedkin, he did The Exorcist and The French Connection. Like, it would have been crazy.
Yeah, it would have been a very different movie. This movie stars Gabriel Macht as the Spirit. He is he's best known for Suits, the USA series Suits.
Business suits or unemployed suits.
You'll have to watch the show to find out.
Never.
He's worked for years, and a ton of.
He has?
Yes.
You are shitting me.
A ton of.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm saying this wasn't like, he was in Behind Enemy Lines, Bad Company, The Recruit, The Good Shepherd, Because I Said So. He plays like the fourth build guy in movies a lot. This is one of his only starring film roles.
He wasn't bad.
He was fine. He was good enough.
He's handsome, and he hit his timing a couple times, but I thought he was a total unknown.
Like I said, he's the third or fourth build guy in like a ton of movies. Let's see, he's done a lot of TV too. He was in other than Suits, he was in The Others, Sex and the City, Spin City. Ooh, he was on an episode of Beverly Hills 90210 as Tal Weaver.
Oh, that's how I know him. Tal.
Yeah. Sam Jackson is in this. We have spoken of Sam Jackson numerous times. We will speak of him again. We won't go back into his screen credits. Scarlett Johansson. This is our first ScarJo. First time we've had her on this show. And here she is.
There she is. Nice to see you.
She let's see, she got her start in kids movies. She's been working since she was little. Let's see, she was in Manny and Lowe, Home Alone 3. She was in The Horse Whisperer. All of this as a kid, or like a tween.
I remember in Horse Whisperer. I think that's the first thing I saw her in.
Yeah. I mean, I saw those movies, so I must have seen her in them. But the first time I noticed her as a person would have been Ghost World.
Yeah.
Followed up shortly by. Oh wow, she was in Eight Legged Freaks. Followed up by Lost.
She was in The Man Who Wasn't There, same year as Ghost World.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Huh. Lost in Translation, of course, is where she like really came into like the public perception as a star.
And she was very good in that.
She was
Yeah.
great in that. That's her and Bill. I love that movie.
She carried it more than he did, though.
Yeah, she did. Oh yeah, she was she was in every scene. I mean, yeah. And then, of course, since then, she's Scarlett Johansson. We will speak of, she is. Everyone knows who Scarlett Johansson is. I don't see the need to go into her every film.
I agree. I agree.
So,
thank you.
We'll be talking about her again a number of times. Eva Mendes, who we last saw on this show in Ghost Rider. We've got Sarah Paulson as Ellen Dolan. Oh, by the way, Seychelle Gabrielle plays young Sans Serif. She's best known as being the voice of Asami on The Legend of Korra. She does a lot of voice work, it looks like. Okay, so we've got Sarah Paulson as Ellen Dolson.
That wasn't Kristen Wiig?
No. Wow, yeah.
I'm kidding. I always get those two confused. I'm pretty sure it was because of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, were they both on that?
Oh no, just Sarah Paulson, but she
was a sketch performer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She does an amazing impersonation of a dolphin.
She's one of my favorite actors, period. But I feel bad for her. I know.
Wait, why?
Because I don't know, she was still getting there, I suppose. But I recognize her as a very strong character, especially a very strong female character. But that doesn't even come through. She's just got really in control energy, and having her swooning over some dude.
Oh, you felt bad for her in this movie. I thought you meant like in general in her life. I was like, is there a tragedy I'm unaware of?
Well, she had to play Marsha Clark, but she blew the roof off it.
Yeah, she did.
She was awesome.
Let's see. She was in Ocean's 8, Bird Box. Oh my God, we'll see her again on this show in Glass.
Right. Yeah.
12 Years a Slave. People versus O.J. Simpson, like you said. Yeah, she's great.
American Horror Story.
Oh yes,
there would be no show without her, and that's season after season. There would be no show.
I fell off that after the second season.
Not every season is good. It's like sort of a jumping,
Yeah.
every other one or something.
Let's see.
Like the Star Trek movies.
Yep.
Yeah. Dan Loria as Commissioner Eustace Dolan, best known as the dad from the Wonder Years.
Yep.
That's all I ever see.
Okay, so I thought he was lead detective or captain.
No. He's
running the whole show.
He's the commissioner. So police commissioners generally do a lot of like paperwork, like politicking.
It's a political position.
It's an office. Yeah, they don't.
It's like working your way up to judge. It's one of those situations where like you've been a cop for so long, now you don't have to be a cop, but you could be the leader of the cops. But usually the commissioner does not show up at the mud flats to take shoe print impressions.
No.
Not even Jim Gordon messes with that shit.
No. So the dad from the Wonder Years actually worked a lot outside of the Wonder Years, it appears.
Yeah, he did.
He did. He was in Without a Trace, Stakeout, and Another Stakeout.
He was pivotal.
Yeah. Oh, we saw him on the monthly movie in Independence Day. I forgot about that. He was in Big Mama's House too.
He was in the house or the movie?
Both. Most recently, he's been in Holiday. That's 2020. Holiday, which appears to be, oh my God, it stars Emma Roberts and Luke Bracey. It's a Netflix film about a young woman who hates holidays, but she hires a guy to be her fake boyfriend, yada, yada, yada. Okay. One of those things.
I can't believe who gets to make movies.
Right.
It's infuriating.
All right. Stana Katic is Morgenstern. Morgenstern. She's best known as Kate Beckett in Castle.
Is that the main character in Castle?
I think so. I've only seen like 3 episodes. I don't know.
I guess
She's
besides
Castle.
Castle.
That's I don't know. That's Nathan Fillion being Nathan Fillion. Is my take on that show. Let's see. Luis Lombardi as Phobos, Logos, Pathos, Ethos, Balbos, Huevos, and Rancheros.
Matzos.
Mangos, Adios, Amigos. Yeah. Jamie.
Sounds like a chain Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. That guy looked really familiar. Let's see. What was he in? He was Agent Skip on The Sopranos.
Yeah, but there's more. I reckon in that speech impediment he had. I remember
he was in Usual Suspects, Natural Born Killers, Beverly Hills Cop 3. Oh, we saw him in Spider-Man 2, apparently. I don't remember him at all.
It sounds like I've seen him a lot throughout my life, it sounds like.
Yeah. Jamie King is Lorelei Rocks. She's the Death or Siren, whatever. She was in Pearl Harbor, My Bloody Valentine, 3D, Sin City. Oh, and she's been the star of Heart of Dixie. Oh,
okay.
And she also apparently, let's see. She's the voice of Aura Singh on Star Wars Clone Wars. And let's see. Last one, we're going to talk about Paz Vega as Plaster of Paris. Paz Vega. She is in Spanglish, Sex and Lucia, Rambo, Last Blood.
Last Blood. He's like, look. He shows up to the village, or the missionaries. Look, Last Blood, all right? Last time I'm coming down here.
This is it, guys. I'm done after this.
I got to retire. My headband.
Oh, my God. That only came out in 2019. What the fuck, Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
I have not seen a Rambo movie since the early 90s.
Right. Well, and Last Blood, actually, he went... it's a visit to his primary care doctor.
There's blood in my urine. Please help.
Can it be the last blood, please?
Yeah, please. He's all, whoops, it's the new batch.
Rambo 12, the new batch. I don't know how many there are. This movie has 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means I'm going to read 5-star reviews for you.
Miller Burgers.
Yeah. Jack O writes, this movie is totally awesome. Hilarious, sexy, and fun. A solid cult classic that people will be talking about long after everyone has long forgotten blockbuster trash like Avatar and those boring Batman movies. It seriously has Big Lebowski staying power. High time for a sequel. There's plenty of great source material. Spirit in Space? 5 stars.
This guy must have
have to
gotten
go do my homework.
really high before writing that review.
Right.
I did catch in the comics at one point the Spirit did go to the moon.
Okay. I mean, that's clearly what he's referencing, I guess, then.
Well,
Weird.
Good for him.
Do you know if that was before 1969?
I don't know, honestly.
That's a cool question.
I think it might have been before 1952 when...
when it stopped running.
Yeah, the first run was...
Oh, back when they thought the moon was actually made out of cheese.
Yeah, back then.
Yeah.
He went to get some cheese.
I'll be right back. And he never came back.
Do you know how he got to the moon? Sorry to ask all these moon-related questions, but...
Is this moon-related, really?
Did he know a woman astronaut? I assume, because he leans on women for everything in this movie.
Right.
It's like, I know a cosmonaut, dame from, Soviet Russia. Let's go. I don't know.
All right. So Tyson P writes, not nearly as good as Sin City, but what is? 5 stars. 5 stars.
Well, that's your bar.
Brittany writes, Samuel L. Jackson, goodness. 5 stars.
Yeah, that Nazi uniform did it for her, I guess.
Yes.
The
Or
left.
the samurai uniform.
Yeah.
Those sideburns,
yeah.
man, they got
That
me a
did
little
it
hot
for
under
me.
the collar.
Yeah.
The left H writes, I hated this the first time I saw it. Then one day I was forced to watch it again. 5 stars.
Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, please help. Part of his
Forced
torture.
to watch it again.
Yeah.
You know, I can relate to that because I wouldn't have watched this otherwise.
You're right. We were all. Oh, that's true. I'm laughing at this guy before I'm sitting.
Jessica P writes, fantastically good despite Eva Mendes getting her ass out at every opportunity.
Despite that?
Right.
Wow.
5 stars.
Like those were the bright spots.
Anthony B writes, I like to say that this is a brilliant movie, and I have to give the film credit for trying. 5 stars.
It's about his aspirations. Yeah. Like, I'd like to.
Rachel T writes, a beautiful movie with a dash of humor and a heaping pile of nostalgia. Yum, yum, yum.
I don't think that's nostalgia. That heaping pile is
Heaping pile. Yeah.
It's that muck that they're fighting in the very beginning of the movie, just piled up.
I want a steaming pile of nostalgia.
A huge steaming
Tune in
pile.
next week while we do American Graffiti for our monthly.
That's the end of our production and reviews, guys. Are you ready to jump into this thing?
This one's for Muffin.
Yeah.
Muffin was like, man, like, fuck you. Don't do that to Muffin. Okay. Yeah. Here we go, guys. This is The Spirit. We open with the personification of death, or as I've learned today, possibly a siren, telling us that our hero is the only person to ever escape her. Then there's a ringing phone, and the Shadow in his apartment with a lot of cats answers, Al, are you the Shadow? Or I'm sorry, the Spirit? I kept calling him the Shadow, or thinking of him as the Shadow.
Yeah. Yes.
I am not the Spirit. I only have 2 cats.
All right.
Only 2.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I'm very angry.
You need at least 9 to be a presumed dead masked vigilante.
Yeah, with healing powers just by owning 9 or more cats. Well, I'm angry that, it was one of the redeeming points of the Spirit is that, cats liked him and followed him, and that allowed him for his inner outer monologue and shit. I can't believe how long it took me to get to the point where I realized that Frank Miller was just giving us a metaphor for what a pussy magnet he is.
Yep. Yeah. No, this movie.
So insulting.
Oh my God. Yeah. This movie was just. This was one of the worst, most sexist movies I have ever seen.
I think this is one of the kind of comic book movies that made mainstream female audience members particularly go see a comic book movie and be like, what is this insane incel fanboy masturbatory shit? You're like, why are they in Nazi regalia? Why is it all about asses and boobs? And you know what I mean? It's like a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And so that's where comic book movies get a bad name, is shit like this.
There's 2 things Frank Miller likes: asses and black, white,
Chewing
and red.
gum.
Yeah. And a limited color palette. Those are the 2 things he likes.
And chunky, blocky.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to point out that the lead cat that we saw, the main cat, was played by Arthur the cat. This was sadly his only movie because he gave a great performance.
Arthur was great.
And then he retired or something happened.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Tune in.
This movie was 13 years ago. He could still be around.
Gained too much weight to be a cat star.
Yeah.
He got canceled because, he was out prowling around.
His tweets.
Okay, so his phone rings. He answers. It's a cop telling him that a villain named the Octopus, not the octopus.
No, that works.
Yeah,
his window reminded me of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Oh yeah, I kept thinking of him as the Shadow. I mean, I guess it's just that 30s and 40s kind of thing, but yeah. Let's see. There's a cop. He's telling him that the octopus is doing bad things down at the mud flats.
At the mud flats.
The spirit
are mud flats a thing? Are those like a geographic thing?
It's a bog.
Because I know salt flats are. But,
yes, it's like it's an area that doesn't hold water like a pond would, but it's always moist.
But there's also apparently like a dock there. Was there a ship?
He said it was a wrecked or abandoned ship.
Okay,
which is odd because how long has it been
there? Yeah, and it's insane.
The guy on the phone, he referred to the place as the old mud flats. Which makes me believe that they built a new mud flats.
There's new mud flats.
Like he put the pizza in a cup guy out of business. The old
next to the mud resort.
Yeah. So all right. So Spirit heads down there. He stops a mugging on the way, and the lady's all like, "Ooh, sexy! you're the sexiest cardboard cutout white guy I've ever seen."
Yeah, and there's no problem with this storytelling wise, but they were ambiguous as to what his powers were. And so I was just like, let's see, running, jumping, fist fighting. His power is cocaine.
Yeah.
It's monologuing.
Also
cocaine.
Yeah, that's one of my unanswered questions. What are his powers other than he just doesn't die? Is there anything else?
He's able to fight more.
Yeah, there was he was an outstanding athlete and hand-to-hand combatant. I guess that explains why he could run across power lines.
I guess.
I thought he was nimble as a cat, but no, that's not what they're trying to tell us.
No, not at all. All right, so before he can get to the mud flats, the cop gets shot by the octopus. He sees a beautiful lady emerging from the water. He tells us how beautiful she is. How many characters had say she's so beautiful? Oh, she's beautiful. Look at that beautiful lady. That lady's beautiful.
Oh.
Okay, so she emerged from the water, or was that the mud flats?
I was
confused by
That's
very confusing.
It seemed like any time that anyone else was in this same location, it was mud, except for Eva Mendes, who came out of crystal clear,
beautiful,
pure lake water.
Bahamian.
Yeah.
The mud is right next
covered
to
in mud.
The river, or
yeah.
Well, yes.
I don't know.
Because that also happens when a pond or lake recedes. These muddy shores, but that was also very deep water, but not too deep.
Yeah, not too deep. But also, apparently, there was a shipwreck down there, so that was the ocean.
The Argo.
It seemed like the ocean.
Yeah, the Argo. The fucking Argo. Is that what it was? At a certain point,
we lose the box, and it just falls down like a drop off. You know, like the ocean has.
2 boxes tied together like it was an Amazon order. Like, who was transporting this and how and why?
Be like, they're supposed to take a picture of it when they put it on my porch. Goddamn.
We'll get they were strapped end to end. Why not strapped to each other?
Yeah, top, bottom.
Because it's going to be harder to carry a box that has a rope between 2 boxes.
Yeah, that get a dolly, you'll
boxes.
Put it on top. Yeah. Stupid movie.
There was a street sign we drove by. It was Iger Street.
Oh, Bob Iger.
Jerry Iger.
Jerry Iger. Oh.
Was Eisner's partner at Eisner and Iger.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I caught some other name drops.
Yeah, there's some cool names on vehicles and buildings.
Yeah. I mean, Frank Miller clearly knows his comic history. It's his passion, but yeah. So, all right. Spirit arrives. I wrote shadow like half the time. Spirit arrives. The cop tells him about the beautiful lady. We see that he took her necklace.
The beautiful broad.
Beautiful broad.
He says it each time.
He says it like 7 times.
And he's the head of this covert, going after the octopus syndicate kind of cop. We meet him. He's terrified. He's just like the terrified bald character. Do you know? He doesn't seem as the cop on the case.
No, he might as well be a beat cop for all the good he does.
He's terrified.
Was he even a cop?
I thought he was.
Sussman?
I thought he was. Yeah, he was a detective.
It was
because then he's in the
Okay.
hospital and the commissioner's checking in on him, and yeah.
Yeah. Will he ever walk
All right.
again?
Yeah.
Will he ever dance again?
Will he ever love again?
Find out
Yeah.
in the
Time will
sequel.
tell. Yeah.
All right.
I'll
The
say it
spirit
all.
and the bald cop.
The new batch, not for the last time.
So all right. So we see Eva Mendes underwater. She's stealing 2 chests. They get separated. She takes one. Octopus takes the other. Swims down and takes the other. Then the octopus and the spirit fight for a while in the mud flats. That goes on for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
We cut to a
What
couple
the
other
hell was
things,
this scene?
but
It felt like I felt like I was hallucinating and stuck in a time loop.
Yeah.
Because they just like were punching each other and shooting each other, and like he punches Samuel L. Jackson 4,000 times in the face, and then they are both up again, and Samuel L. Jackson disappears.
And this
None
is
of
where it
made any
became
sense.
confusing as to he says that he's not a cop, but he tells another cop to go look for more footprints. So like we're shown all these things and it's very confusing. Like, wow, he sure seems like a cop.
no,
And then the fight.
this movie made the narrative, the script, like it made no sense. Like just things
Right.
just happened.
But that's
Yeah.
what I meant. I agree with Brian. It was like a time loop. I felt like this scene, we were there for a long, long time.
My God. I
The
felt
whole movie is essentially the scene.
Right.
We just revisit Samuel L. Jackson, and we're back in that same interaction every time.
Right.
It doesn't develop whatsoever. It doesn't go anywhere. Nothing
And it's
happens.
not- he's punching into the water, so you don't see any contact being made with his punches. But there's like at least 4 different angles. I stopped counting, but 4 different angles of him punching into a puddle of water, and it's just so boring. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen comic book battles. You don't even see Samuel Jackson's character, so he's not there. This dude's just in a pool of water punching down, and he took so long to show that. Like even throwing each other would be more interesting.
Well, and that moment where he punches him like 12 times, that would have been best reserved for the end. That was a weird thing to put at the very beginning fight. Like, watch us just punch each other a bunch of times. Like, no, it could have been some psychological shit happening. They fight a little bit, and then he gets away or something. But 7 minutes?
And they tell us right off the bat that these two tangle often. You know, they're
Yeah.
like, here we go again. But at the same time, we get they finally talk to each other, I guess.
Yeah, for the
We're the
first time
same,
ever.
you and me.
Boring is a good description. Like this
Boring,
movie, besides being terrible, was terrible and not even like fun. Despite the fact that you have Samuel L. Jackson in crazy costumes screaming, despite the fact that it has this insane cinematography and color palette, it was so boring.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Even when things are happening, it's of no consequence or, yeah.
Well, and his composition.
Yeah.
And it's not like he just stood in one place like, say, Kevin Smith does. He tried different angles, and they were just so contrived and terrible. Like, Frank Miller is a film student who got to make a $60 million movie.
Exactly.
Mentioning Kevin Smith makes me think all this movie needed was like actual humor.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know, like some jokes, and this movie probably would have been twice as good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which is still like a 30% on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
exactly.
But, give me a joke to laugh at every once in a while. Throw me a fucking bone, movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's my philosophy.
Frank Miller is just not funny, though.
No. Oh God, no. The man is
At
not known
all.
for his humor.
That's not true.
No.
However, on the comic book page, he could write banter quite well.
Yeah.
Well, and this was very comic booky banter. It just didn't translate well, or I don't know if he wasn't able to get his
That's a good
actors
point.
to write it well. But it was very comic booky, like the dialogue. Saying things like,
Was this movie rated R?
I don't know.
I never checked these things as an adult. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and we've forgotten. It's not even
Yeah.
a thing anymore. So it's funny.
The ratings aren't barely even matter.
Did they tell you to use discretion or not?
Yeah.
Now
Right.
they're like, I don't
You
give a
take your
shit.
child to a rated R movie at this point. Like,
give a shit.
nobody cares.
You're showing your kids Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. Yeah, the ticket taker is underpaid anyways. They don't care.
They really
Yeah.
don't. So all right. So
So all those 3 kids in a trench coat are just out of work now.
So, all right, we meet.
This was PG-13.
Oh,
Thanks. So,
thank you.
yeah, I don't know. So that just means we don't get actual boobs.
Or curse words.
Yeah. All right, we meet the octopus's henchman, Silken Floss, his gal Friday. She's also a pretty lady. We're told that by his goons.
Multiple times.
Yes, multiple times. Repetition was repetitious in this film.
Well, especially from Logos.
Yeah.
He keeps repeating it.
I was watching.
Eventually, Octopus knocks the spirit unconscious and leaves. Spirit wakes up. That's what happens. He just knocks him out and leaves.
Why doesn't he chain him up or something? Or like tie him to the, make him swim with the fishes.
Sleep.
Yeah, if you tie him up and chain him up and dump him in the water so he's like...
Can't breathe.
Is he going to die then? I don't know.
Well, he's able to claw his way out of hermetically sealed containers with only his badge.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I have questions about that scene too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the point where we find out he can heal from any wound and that the octopus has some sort of information about this and similar powers, I guess.
Except for a broken heart.
Yeah. The cop that got shot earlier gives the spirit the necklace. Then we meet the police commissioner who's tired of the spirit's maverick shenanigans. They argue.
If I sang out of tune?
They argue for 4.5 minutes about his shenanigans.
And they have this years long arrangement.
Oh my God.
Well, and we find out later why their relationship is so contentious.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's fucking his daughter.
Yes.
He's taking his daughter to
along
prom.
with everybody else at the scene at the end where he's like, I just kissed Eva Mendes, but I love only you. And also, what's up, pretty lady cop? It was just like boom, boom, boom.
She just has a constant supply of penicillin for him.
God.
I know his body.
Oh.
He heals from that too.
Yeah. The spirit has a flashback to when he and the pretty lady with the chest in the water were kids in the old neighborhood.
Pretty lady with the chest, is that a double entendre? I will say the young actress that they cast as what was her name? Sans Serif?
Sans Serif.
The font, right?
Yeah. The young actress was just incredible casting for a young Eva Mendes.
She was great.
Looking at her, there were a couple of times where they did the shot from the past to the future, and I was like, wow, man, they nailed it.
Actually, both those kids were pretty good.
Yeah, and the boy was good too.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, the kids were all right.
And they acted those scenes really well. I will say they honestly may have been the best actors in the movie.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah,
the kids were the
most
best.
Emotional moments.
Yeah,
it was driving me crazy by the end of the movie. Like, were those kids better than Samuel L. Jackson and Scarlett Johansson? I think so. Shit.
And to use the vernacular, I want to talk about that stupid broad who drives around with her $1 million diamond necklace.
She drives slowly through a bad neighborhood, hanging her $1 million bracelet out of the car, just waiting for someone to come.
My cap out the window, I would lose it.
Oh God!
Yeah.
It would just fly away or fall.
Yeah.
You guys know Gravity.
Have you met Gravity? Yeah. So, all right. We see him give her the necklace. She wants diamonds and money. Her dad's a cop who gets killed in the line of duty. There's something about a gangster. I stopped paying attention. I don't know. Her dad cop got killed. So she
I thought her dad got killed by a cop.
Wait, was her dad the cop?
Yeah, her dad was the cop. His uncle was the former boxer who gets in trouble sometimes, and he pushed the gun away from himself, shot the cop in the head. He died. His uncle freaked out and killed himself on the scene.
But was it no? Didn't the guy that came up to mug him or whatever? Didn't he push it towards the cop? So it wasn't actually the boxer's fault. It was the mugger's fault.
He fired the gun. No, he was holding the gun and he was pointing in the boxer's face. Uncle Pete. Uncle Pete moves the revolver away from his face, but yeah, the Guido, as he's referred to later, is holding the gun and fires the gun. Maybe he doesn't pull the trigger. Maybe like the movement makes it happen, but that's what happens. Pete never touches the gun.
So either way, she vows to leave town and become rich.
I had a couple name drops that I forgot. So the truck that she's driving, Silk and Floss, it said Ditko's something service. So there's Steve Ditko. Also, he's given her the necklace. He talks about the jeweler, Old Man Kurtzman.
Oh,
who's of course Harvey Kurtzman from Mad Magazine and Inventing Cartoons. Comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. All right. So the spirit then says she's doing crime, so he's going to go find her and bring her in despite their history. In the sewers, we see the octopus's lair. He's dressed as a samurai now.
I'm sorry, I missed it, but when the doctor, when Sarah Paulson was fixing him up after the battle with the octopus.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right before they're at the mud flats. So again, the medical, I don't know. Oh, let's do this at the mud flats. It's comfier. But anyways, she says, you need to be admitted. And he's like, that takes forever. And I just thought to myself, like, yeah, that's the concern of a masked, secret identity type person is the wait.
Yeah.
The paperwork. Otherwise, I'd sit in the ER. Yeah. I love the Food Network. I'll watch it all day.
So, all right. So the octopus opens up the box he got. It's supposed to be the blood of Heracles inside it, but it's not. It's something that glows, a la Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
We don't know. But she's unsatisfied somehow.
Yeah, he does not like that. They realize that Sans Serif has the blood. They're going to go find her and trade the glowing thing for the blood. We find out that the octopus and the spirit both have the same condition, being invulnerable. It could go away.
I hope the spirit doesn't drink the blood. Like, who tastes blood right off the bat? Like,
be like, I've got a jar of blood. What should I do with it? I know.
Like taking the one, like cops sometimes used to do, put their pinky in, and then taste it, but then going back for more, like it's funded. Yeah. I'm gonna drink this blood.
So drinking the blood of Heracles is supposed to make them permanently invulnerable and live forever, I guess.
But only if you've had the injection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Is ambiguous.
Whatever happened to Sam Jackson and the spirit.
Because we saw that one guy who was Sans Serif's husband.
He tries.
He tried the blood. It's like, oh yeah, blood.
I know. I did mention it because
so yeah, he doesn't pull through.
No.
Yeah. So all right. Then we see Sans Serif. She visits an antiquities dealer, who was the one who found this treasure, and it turns out he double-crossed her by also telling the octopus about it. So she makes him return all the money, which he donates to
the cops.
The cops,
which was not clear.
No,
I thought she was transferring it to her account, and that calling him a philanthropist was ironic.
Yeah, the whole charity talk, like you're giving it to charity, I thought was,
And it was $100 million.
Yes.
Yep, they bought jackets.
Yeah, they bought bulletproof jackets.
Jackets.
Well, and also 2 Apache helicopters.
Right.
And the Hulk. Yeah. But I thought, so then, actually Andrea mentioned it, but so deep in her heart, she wanted to protect Denny.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But not the spirit, because she doesn't know, right? Does she know? She doesn't know. Do the women know? They don't know.
No,
right?
she doesn't know who the spirit is at this point because that little mask hides his identity.
Right. We joked about that. And this one was even more exaggerated. Yeah, Sarah Paulson's like, I know your body, except for 2 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. But
no, it's a serious question. Dan DeLorean knows that he was Denny. Shithead, whatever his name is, Colt. But does that nobody else does?
Nobody
right?
else. No,
else knows
nobody
who
knows he's Denny Colt. Yeah, Denny Colt is dead as far as the public is concerned, and nobody else knows this.
Okay, that was confusing until that scene at the very end. But yeah,
Yeah,
where they said that.
yeah. So, so she makes the antiquities dealer kill himself, otherwise she'll reveal that he's
On a boat with a Tibetan monk.
No, I think it was
the picture?
it was a picture of him with a young kind of ethnic looking boy
On a boat, right?
Yeah, so I'm assuming he was, like.
Oh yes, that's what we're supposed to assume. But I would not shoot myself over that photo.
Yeah, right.
Like what? I was on the boat with a kid.
That's all you got.
Incriminating now. Right.
Yeah. So, and she also takes the time to Xerox her ass for some reason.
Yeah.
Throw it
What was
away.
with the Xeroxing of the ass?
Because he's a perfect ass, I think she called him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She calls him a perfect ass. Then we see the Xerox of her ass. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God,
That's
Frank
supposed to be a
Miller,
breadcrumb
dude.
For Denny to recognize, like, I've seen this ass before.
And then Denny recognizes the ass. Yes.
It's a breadcrumb. Yeah, you're right. Oh my
He
god.
recognizes the
Also,
ass.
That was a child. She was not developed like Eva Mendes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, butts
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
do
if she
that.
was Benjamin Buttoning, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're right. How would he know what the fuck
Right.
grew into?
They were children.
You know?
If it had been a Xerox of her face, yeah, absolutely.
She
Like,
sticks
oh
her,
shit, I remember
she
that girl.
sticks her face on the Xerox.
They knew that Sans Serif was there not from the ass photocopy, but she had an appointment with this guy,
Yeah, he's at the fence.
Yeah.
Donenfeld. Yeah, she
Yeah.
had an appointment. She was on the sign-in sheet.
And then they brought her to a little room and had her put on a paper gown and then left her for an hour.
All right, so let's see. In the hospital, the spirit's all healed up, so he makes out with pretty lady doctor for a while. They're interrupted by the commish, who is her dad, and rookie.
So that's what I meant. Like, Sarah Paulson's fantastic as an actor. It doesn't matter. But just to see her swoon was just so...
to see all these women.
Any of these women, I'm not going to imply that some women should. I'm not saying that's a type, but I don't know.
To see
I
all.
guess all the women in this movie, it was insulting.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like they all,
every woman in this movie swooned over this cardboard cutout, like, dude. Like, come on.
yeah, just a dude. Business suit.
Yeah.
He was jacked, though. We do see him later. And,
Alright.
Yeah.
at least I guess he looks good without a shirt on, but
So he's a gym rat. Fair enough.
Right.
Gym rat with a domino mask.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't take that off when he's at the gym. Changes clothes, but not the mask.
Yeah, a gym rat with
That's
too much
pretty-
eyeliner.
That's where he met all these women. It's just at the gym.
Yeah. He has a half T-shirt that's been cut
It's
that
like,
says Harvard on it.
You
I
want to
don't know
see
if he
me
went to
blast my
Harvard.
delts? Oh. All right, so then we meet rookie cop Morgenstern. She's also a pretty lady.
From Baltimore.
From Baltimore.
And the only thing that she says like she's from Baltimore is Baltimore.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did not have a Maryland accent.
No.
Yeah, it was, because that's how like a lot of people from Baltimore say it, like be more Baltimore, whatever. But that was the one Baltimore characteristic.
Yeah, she
I
didn't.
was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then she kept talking and I went like, what
Yeah.
happened to
Yeah.
that?
It's a
She
weird.
didn't have the ew sound of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
and Baltimore.
It's a weird.
Earn. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
one of my
that.
favorite like Baltimore accent things ever.
So anyways, Morgenstern did not deliver.
No. No.
She's going to make detective in no time.
Is Morgan? Well, I guess that was probably a character from back in the day. All right. So, in the street, we discover the spirit is a celebrity, apparently,
Apparently, yeah.
irresistible to the ladies, and one dude. Kudos for him for just wearing it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
spirit, you want to come back to my place? Yeah. And an idol to children. Morgenstern tells them Sans Serif has an Elektra complex. The cops get a anonymous donation and traced it back to the dead antiquities dealer.
So the Elektra complex, is that like an Oedipus complex?
Yeah,
But
she
for girls.
simplifies it. It's not quite that.
It's
but
pink.
Yeah.
It's an Oedipus complex, but pink.
Yeah, that's literally, I was like, why not just call it an Oedipus complex? You just
I'm gonna have a complex reveal party.
So yeah, they discover Sans Serif was there at the dead guy's place. The commissioner thinks the spirit knows her. Spirit denies it and leaves and tells Morgenstern to find him a lead to the octopus. I would like to point out that at this point, like, two things have happened in this movie, and we're already halfway through.
Yeah, there's a fight at the mud flats,
Yeah.
and we get a box of blood and glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite how many scenes there are, there's actually about 5 scenes. You're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we go from location to person constantly, but nothing ever happens.
Well, and we still haven't gotten to the card game, which is the next event that happens.
Yes, and this is actually it. So yeah, she's playing cards with some underworld types. She gets one of them to give a message to the octopus.
After she wins,
What does she win?
the diamond bracelet that she saw as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Dangling off
And
window hand.
there were only men playing at the table besides Eva Mendes, right?
Yes.
I guess.
So one of them,
The Sheik could have been anyone.
yeah, it's true. That's true. But yeah, one of these men brought, I assume possibly now she's dead or old, or maybe they divorced her because she, got old or something.
Well, what a lucky table for her to sit down at, too.
I assume that was why she was at the table, because she
Yeah.
wanted those diamonds.
Yeah.
She said, I'll take this. Whoever can bring a message to Octopussy can have all this shit.
Yeah, it was just convenient that they knew Octopus. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, it was convenient that necklace was in play at this particular underground poker game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good coincidence.
So then we get yet another shot of the spirit brooding through voiceover. Then there's a thing with the octopus and a foot with a head on it, in which he's doing some science stuff. This scene, watching it the second time, I realized that this scene, there's nothing happens in this entire 6-minute long foot head scene. There's not a single plot point that is advanced in any way.
No, they sort of were trying to show how he recreates this henchman over and over, and he decided to tweak it. But you're right, he didn't tell us how he's doing it.
I guess that was them showing that they can't make the henchmen smart.
I guess.
They
I don't
can't
know
tweak
why.
them.
Because he said, we tried to make this one smarter, and
I don't know why we needed 6 minutes to do it.
yeah,
And then he had a real snappy mouth.
Yeah.
they thought that foot gag was going to be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He thought
This
quite a big
scene-
guy.
This scene was really just an excuse to get Scarlett Johansson to lean over and show off her cleavage
Uh-huh.
Yep.
for a few
Yes.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, all right, then the spirit somehow finds sand in the hotel. I don't know if I missed it, but did we find out how he found her in the hotel? Because he just suddenly did.
It was using the photocopy of the butt.
Well, I
He
have a
traced
more
the butt
important
prints
question.
back to the hotel.
How does Commissioner of Police not know the name Sans Serif, as it's not an alias, it's actually her name, because we see in flashbacks that's
Just
what she's called. Her father was a cop.
yeah.
He was shot in the line of duty. His name was either Serif or I don't know, but and she was on the news with that name as a child, saying "fuck the police."
Yeah.
And so, how does this commissioner not know? Do you know what I mean? And she grew up with Denny Colt.
Yeah.
Her dad was a cop, but this cop's like Sans Serif. That ass, I don't recognize that ass.
Well, but then he does talk about when she went on. He later on talks about when she went on TV and said,
But
"Fuck."
yes, yeah, when they're on the crime scene.
Yeah.
But he's trying to piece it together.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're right. He catches up with Sand.
Yes.
He knows who
So-
she is.
Somehow.
He realizes that she has a taste for fancy things, so she's not going to stay in some dive hotel. She's going to go for the 5-star hotels. So he takes this photocopy of her ass and to the doorman, and he gets to Hotel Aries, where the doorman is a little person, and he says, now you're speaking the language of my soul, because he has like that eyeline view.
Oh my
Yes,
God, I hate this movie. I hate it so much.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is
He's
movie's
like, I
the
know what her ass
worst.
looks like. That's all I can see when I look good. Oh my God.
Everything about this
And I hate
is
to
bad.
say it, you could have made that joke. That joke could have landed.
Right.
Like that joke could have actually been something where we're like, that's actually pretty great. But no.
Yeah.
The
What about-
delivery of
yeah.
this joke was awful.
The drunken bum who's always laying down in front of the hotel.
Yeah.
He could have done it, but instead you used an actual little person, so there's no joke anymore.
No,
you took the joke away. The humor is someone who would not be looking up this character.
Yeah.
This fucking guy, Frank Miller.
Awful.
All right. So, he goes up to her room. We get an excuse to have Eva Mendes naked. We discover that the thing she wants is the golden fleece. Her husband's dead from drinking the blood. He reveals.
Okay, is that her husband though? Because this is the third henchman, right? Or is this? Because this is a different henchman than the first henchman.
Is it?
The third,
I thought it was this was the same guy from the beginning.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's the guy she was with before. It's the guy that was in the first it's the guy that was Xander's best friend in the first episode of Buffy.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah. There were multiple. She had multiple male accomplices, and I was just confused as to their relationship because if that's her husband in the plane, we see later on a marriage conversation. I'm
mentioned
fucking so confused by this movie.
They mentioned somewhere that she'd been married like 8 times since
she
left.
She keeps getting husbands, and they die from her various hijinks.
Yes, I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but
but she ain't messing with no broke.
Yeah, she likes shiny things. She says it over. How self-aware. She also says at some point, "I don't even care about people I like." It's like then you don't like them.
Yeah,
it's a real crucial element to the concept.
Yeah. So all right. So she shoves him out the window. There's some hijinks with him hanging from the building and his pants, and the ladies are like, "Ooh, look at that! We've got spirit thighs, spirit calves."
Spirit legs. Yeah, they're just loving it from there.
As this wasn't funny either.
No.
This is a great moment for physical humor that just like they overplayed the physicality of it, I guess.
And I'm sorry, what's funnier in an accidental pants off scene in a glass window elevator? 3 really attractive women who don't say or do anything, or a very old couple?
Yeah. Right.
That are all like, "Boo?"
Yes, exactly. Well, and also,
and how many times did we cut back to the crowd on the street?
And they were yelling at him to jump. Like,
drop the baby.
But I thought he was adored by the public. Like, what?
Jump.
Maybe they wanted to see the limits of his powers. They were like,
just want to see somebody jump.
Yeah, they're like, if he jumps, I mean, if anybody jumped, they'd probably die, except for this guy. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's time for you to prove your mettle.
I've always been curious what the sound would be like. You know, I'd say this was like a weird, weird human moment.
It didn't land. It didn't land as a funny physical bit, like a Harold Lloyd sort of like, because they did it for a second, swinging from one horn to the other and all this acrobatics, but they didn't deliver on that end. They didn't deliver on the humor of the elevator occupants.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible humor, directed terribly, and it did not land. Morgenstern calls him with the info on where to find the octopus, something about sand or salt. I mean,
salt on their shoes,
and that's only in one. I don't know. It
and
doesn't
we
matter.
don't see salt anywhere else in any other scene.
No, we didn't know that was cooked up in that scene. He then goes to the factory. Oh, that's where they've been. He never told us that before. There was not an exterior shot of the salt warehouse.
No.
There was no breadcrumb trail to that or from that.
Yeah.
It was just an island.
And in this fight, his monologue, he's talking about his city again, how much he loves it, and he's into it. And he's like, "She always provides," and then he makes a snowball.
Right.
And then he says it again, and he's just using a manhole cover. That's any city.
Yeah.
That's Dubuque.
That's not special.
Manholes and snowballs. My city.
It is
my
not.
city weeps.
Yeah. My city. Yeah, he's always talking about his city, but yet the city never actually we don't get
Comes
any
into
sense
play.
of the city as a place. Like it doesn't have. It's like not like Gotham and like the Tim Burton Batman, where it had like a sense of like character.
Well, yeah, you see the mayor in the city center, lighting a Christmas tree. This was like we get the city electrocuting a guy because it has electrical wires.
And it has mud flats, like anyone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't mention it earlier, but you guys notice all of the like really Elfman Burton ripoffs, especially in action scenes.
The
score,
music,
the score.
It sounded like the first Batman at times.
100%. It quoted the Batman score. Actually, I want to see who did the
Frank
score.
Miller.
David Newman did this score. Let's see.
Fanny Delfman.
Fanny Delfman, everyone's favorite auntie.
Let's see. Wow, this guy was. Let's see. He did the score.
Oh, you know what?
He did the score for Critters, The Brave Little Toaster, Throw Mama from the Train, Heathers, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Wow.
Little
You know
Monsters.
what? I was a little bit off. Dun, dun, dun. I think maybe it was more Batman the Animated Series theme ripoff.
Well, it 100% quoted the
yeah.
Tim Burton Batman, but
yeah, it did. But you're right. Gotham City is such a full. I don't know. And now, his character's had 40 years of existence, or since the 40s.
Yeah, this guy. He did the. Let's see. He did the Phantom, Anastasia. This guy does a lot of movie scores. It's weird that it was like that. All right.
I'm sure that was Frank's doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So he goes into the sewer, the spirit goes into the sewer. He gets immediately drugged by Silk and Floss because he can't keep it in his damn pants.
Yeah.
For 1 second. And then in the hospital, the commissioner warns his daughter that the spirit doesn't love her because he will literally fuck anything.
Yeah.
A tree, a building, a woman. He will fuck anything.
The entire city. He is checking the city off,
yeah,
block by block.
Anytime there's a crevice, he's like, "Oh, hold up."
Ooh, a drain pipe.
Yeah. Hold up.
That gram can wait.
Then in the octopus's lair, there's a French belly dancer with the sword for some reason.
And her name is Plaster
French. She seemed Middle Eastern. She seemed like she was like Persian.
But she
is a Spanish actress.
She had a Pepe Le Pew style French accent.
Yeah, Paris. I am Plaster of Paris.
Why Plaster of Paris? Was that her name in the comic book, Al?
I didn't see reference to Plaster of Paris, this character in the comic books.
Because she could have been like Lady Liberty or something,
But in the
been
40s,
anything.
50s, I'm sure that was amusing. Those kinds of names,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Frank Miller didn't. Yeah, it was confusing and weird. So she's there for no real reason. She helps him later, but
a belly dance and then to throw some knives into him.
Yeah.
So that means the octopus got an opening act.
Yeah, and this is the scene wherein the octopus and where Sam Jackson and Scarlett Johansson are both dressed as Nazis with swastikas.
Real ones.
Skull and crossbones, full Nazi regalia.
Not
legitimate, authentic
It's not supposed
Nazi
to
regalia.
remind you. Yeah, it's not supposed to remind you of Nazis.
It is.
There's a big banner.
Literally Nazi.
It's like
exactly.
the Great Dictator, but with actual swastikas. They could have. They could have just had octopuses. It could have been like Hydra.
Octopuses, yes.
I don't understand the need for swastikas at all.
And again, it gets back to what I was talking about the masturbatory sort of incel type, like, they like Nazis as good or bad guys. They like butts and
Frank Miller.
Upsetting. It was.
I mean,
so
I get a real.
He was so committed to black, white, and red. He's like, well, fuck it. Might as well use swastikas, right? That's like it fits with my color palette. Why would I change anything?
I mean, I get a real Authright vibe from Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's been notoriously anti-commercial. I don't know. And then he makes a big budget picture. What an asshole.
Yeah. So all right. this is the point where the octopus gets a call from Sans Serif. They set up the meeting, and then they...
Isn't that a They Might Be Giants song? The octopus gets a call.
He reveals the whole thing about the blood of Heracles to the spirit becoming immortal, taking over the world. He's going to kill the spirit.
Why does he tell the only other person that could drink this shit?
That could do that.
And then says he's going to chop him up and dissolve him. He kills the cat.
There was a fun little barb where the octopus is revealing how the spirit came to be. And he says, "You were stone cold dead, not a breath of life in you. Dead as Star Trek."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Wow. This was
Star Trek Enterprise ran until 2005. 3 years before this. And between Discovery and Enterprise, they kind of said that those, not Discovery, Voyager. Voyager and Enterprise kind of killed the Star Trek franchise for a while, at least.
They did.
In some opinions.
It's 1 year until the J.J. Abrams Trek comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, far out. Yeah.
In the timeline. The timeline.
in the spirit timeline.
Well, Star Trek's always been sort of Saturday Night Live-ish. Like, it works, and then sometimes it doesn't work, and then it works again.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was a weird... Did they ever pay off the egg thing?
No.
They just mention it 4,000 times.
They just talk about eggs a lot.
Egg on my face.
They talk about eggs a lot. They say Sans Serif's name constantly. They talk about how beautiful the ladies are all the time. So all right.
Yeah. I got a count, including the T-shirts, Huevos Rancheros. There were 7 references to eggs in the entire movie.
Weird.
So nothing.
So all right. Let's see. Belly dancer lady is supposed to start chopping up Spirit, but because he's just so damn sexy, she betrays the octopus and releases him. They escape. Then she gets mad that he doesn't love her and stabs him and leaves. Dances away down the alley.
Why did he have her chop him up? Doesn't he have like a chainsaw or something?
I don't know why he needed her at all for anything.
Because he also had a sword lifted over his head like he was going to chop him up. At the same moment. Maybe they're going to do it together.
This movie is real dumb.
Did you guys notice his shoes?
Yeah, it's Converse. It's very white Converse, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it would be the all black Chucks. Sometimes it would be the black Chucks with the white trim.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of inconsistency here. I remember now why he had his shoes off, because they were going to start with his toes, chopping his toes off.
Yeah.
And Octopus did take his shoes off, but after they escape, he's seen running up the stairs now in his Converse again. And then he gets outside and he's suddenly again barefoot.
Huh.
I noticed another one of those.
Movie ruined.
Early on in the very first scene, the octopus is all heads up and hits him with the head, and then hits him with the head again. But then they switch, and he's holding something else. I can't remember what it was.
A cinder block.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was beating him with the severed head earlier.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. I hate this movie so much. All right. So San. Let's see. Spirit has a near-death experience. Decides he's going to stay alive because there's just so many pretty ladies he'd like to have sex with.
Yeah,
it's the only thing keeping me alive.
Yep. The Tim Meadows version of this was way better.
Yeah.
The ladies, man.
So he wakes up in the hospital. Commissioner's there. He tells him he has a plan to get the octopus. I guess you can call that a plan. And
the commissioner of police is always like, you're always on about this octopus. You're always on about the crime lord of Central City and his syndicate of evil.
Right. Sans Serif meets with Silk and Floss to make the exchange. She tells Silk and Floss that the octopus is mean. You shouldn't work for him because he's mean.
He's degrading. He's not empowering. You're a real stand-up broad. You shouldn't have to deal with this.
And this is
I'm
when she
sure-
says that she's a science, or what is she? She's a nuclear physicist and a surgeon.
She doesn't say that in this movie. That was in the comics. But she does say that this will help her pay for her PhD.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
She's
right.
working her way through college.
She's working, stripper or evil henchman.
She's like, I'm getting
Well,
credit
yeah.
for this, so
Yeah.
kindly fuck off.
This is
Whereas Paz Vega totally decided to be a stripper to pay for college.
yeah,
She's the belly dancer.
yeah. This is a work study program.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I-
That's what it is.
I thought this dialogue between them was kind of fun because Silk and Floss, she's like, this is fun for me. We show up here, we look fabulous, we swap things, and then we leave.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Villainy always looked fun in comics and cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, and then later she says, I run a very lucrative operation and I'm great eye candy.
She does.
I walk away and my PhD is all paid for.
She does
Yeah,
say that.
She asks, what are you, Octopus's girlfriend? It's like, it's not like that.
No,
It's not like that.
Yeah.
And I'm proficient in Word and Excel.
So, all right. So, let's see. The octopus jumps out of the back of the van. Why? She was expecting to meet the octopus. Why was it a surprise that he...
Supplies. Yeah, it is weird.
All right. So, and then Silken realizes, oh, octopus is mean. I'm going to run away. And she runs away. She drives off.
Yeah. Earlier on, he's worried that people will find out that he doesn't have a comprehensive healthcare program for his employees. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, when he shoots logos.
That was
Yeah,
that was
getting
another
him
scene
help.
that upon rewatching I didn't even take note of because I realized nothing happens. There is no plot or character thing that is developed in any way that is important.
No, I'm trying to point out that he's beholden to the IRS.
Right. So all right, let's see. The octopus jumps out. Silken Floss drives away. The cops and the Spirit are watching them, and Spirit shows himself. Octopus shoots him. Then a bunch of helicopters and cops jump out and start shooting him and his men. This scene was ridiculous.
Yeah.
With
so
the
much
amount of shooting and the
shooting.
Apache helicopters that didn't just cut the octopus, it didn't just shred him to ribbons immediately.
Right.
And it missed the jar of blood.
What?
We saw like 3
You're
shots
right.
of the jar of blood being missed by, little blurb, like
Right. This
Explosive.
terracotta vase that's existed for 3,000 years. or
Right.
So is underwater.
And also, this is apparently the Spirit's great plan. He's going to put on a bulletproof vest, and him and the cops are going to jump out and start shooting.
He's going to make
That's-
it as a star.
That's a real plan you got there, Spirit. Intricate.
Give me one of those $100 million jackets. I'm about to flip this switch.
So, all right, let's see. At this point, the what's her face, Morgenstern, shoots off the octopus's arm with a grenade launcher.
He's
that
going to make detective.
the chief or the commissioner says that thing would blow up the moon. And she says that she's a good aim.
But she just gets his arm.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
But the Apache
After a certain
helicopters,
caliber, your aim doesn't really
the
matter.
Apache helicopters couldn't take him out. What?
Yeah. He's you don't notice, but he's also moving very quickly
Very quickly, except when
back
he's
to
in
that
the
same
mud.
spot.
Well, then at this point, and then he gets shot in the head
6 times.
6 times, and his arm's blown off, and he's sitting there. And at this point, the cops are like, "All right, great job, everybody," and they leave him alone. And the cops
Yeah.
just disappear. There are now
Yeah,
no
that's
cops
totally-
or helicopters anywhere in this scene.
know.
They
I
don't.
spent more time at the mud flats. I'll say for the
Yeah,
last.
they just fade into the background. They don't go up to him and arrest him. They don't try to get the jar away. They just disappear from the scene.
Yeah, no double tap.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they know about the jar? Do they know?
The Spirit does. I assumed he would
Spirit
tell
does.
them.
Yeah.
Jar.
But either way, Sam Jackson is sitting there and they literally disappear. There's shots of them. There's a shot of Sam Jackson. Then the reverse shot again where the cops used to be, and there are no cops.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
To rewind just for a little bit, when Morgenstern pulls out the giant gun that she shoots off, Commissioner Dolan says, "Is every woman in this hellhole out of her goddamn mind?" And she says, "No, sir, we're just equipped."
He says "goddamn" like 5 times in that sentence.
Yeah, I trimmed out.
It's like, is every goddamn woman in this goddamn town out of her goddamn mind? Like,
and it would not have been out of place if she said, "No, sir, we're on our periods."
Yeah, exactly. So,
did you see the moon? We're all in sync.
Bitches be shopping.
So, all right. So then at this point, the Sam Jackson is going to try to drink the blood because the cops and the Apache helicopters are all just gone.
They retreated. Yeah. Party time.
And
they didn't have enough budget for fuel.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But they printed a banner that says mission accomplished.
So, so he's going to drink the blood, but then Sans Serif shoots it and breaks the jar, finally. And the spirit runs up and shoves a grenade into his stomach, like into a wound or something, I guess. Like literally inside his body, it seemed like.
Yeah.
It was weird.
But Sans, and I guess he's expecting that they'll both get blown up, but then Sans Serif grabs the golden fleece and jumps on top of him. To use it as a shield. Then Sam Jackson blows up, and the day is saved.
The first time when he gets his arm blown off, there's an explosion from that has like 8 tendrils like an octopus, and then when he blows up this time, that second explosion also has the 8 tendrils of smoke.
Great stylistic choice visually.
Right.
Yeah,
they should have done more with the octopus.
Well, I have some unanswered questions about the octopus, but I'm holding those. So all right, Al, you're edumacated. Can you tell us what the powers of the Golden Fleece were in Greek mythology?
Oh gosh, I should have looked that up.
I did.
Was it?
I did.
You did?
I didn't
good.
know if maybe you did, so I was seeing if you did, but the Golden Fleece heals sick people. If someone is sick or injured, you lay it on them and it heals. It does not in any way protect people's shield like.
Okay.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it does the same thing as the octopus's serum.
I mean, it heals you. Yeah.
It's not like the blood. The blood makes you more powerful with the healing factor, but yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
It's like golden Greek tiger balm.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. So yeah, Neosporin, if you will.
I will.
So all right. So then Sans Serif and the spirit kiss. She realizes that this is the point where she realizes that he's her old boyfriend because he was wearing the little mask, so she didn't know before.
She didn't know this childhood.
Well, he gave her locket back.
Yeah.
And they exchanged dialogue that they had when they were children. They repeat it.
Yeah. And then she.
I always thought it would be a hilarious scene in a movie for someone to slowly open a locket and it's like a picture of 2 Muppets or something. Keep on trucking.
It's the little kitten that says, "Hang in there, baby."
Yeah, exactly. It's my locket. Cool.
The doctor lady gets mad because she sees the spirit and Eva Mendes kissing. The commissioner's like, "Don't look. I don't want you to see this," to her.
People say that your life flashes, but nobody said it. Nobody's come back.
No. Yeah. So then Eva Mendes just leaves. She just leaves.
She's just gone.
Yeah. And the spirit goes up to the doctor and he's like, "Yeah, I know I was just making out with her literally 30 seconds ago, but really I'm in love with you."
That's the past, baby. That's the past.
Don't hold it against me.
And as he's saying that to her, Morgenstern walks up and he turns and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" to her.
Hey, you.
Well, and she repeats what she said the first time we meet Morgenstern, which is, "You bastard." And then she like coyly smiles at him.
Yeah.
And then we see cats again, too. Again, drive home the point.
Yes, exactly.
Of all kinds.
Yeah. So then Silken Floss finds a moving finger of the octopus and takes it. She puts it like in her bra.
Okay.
What? Or whatever.
Oh.
It's gonna keep moving.
Oh.
Maybe it's just me, but for longer than 1 second, I did not think that was a finger.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because at the angle that it is at and it is moving, it looked like, because there was a lot of knuckle attached to it.
Oh, no.
It looked like a penis that was moving across the ground.
Well,
like
Samuel Jackson,
like a worm.
it had to have been shot in thirds for that to...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not proud of what I thought I saw. But, I thought I saw it.
It's not your fault.
So yeah,
she puts it in her top. It's still wiggling. Be funny. She's like, I'll just put that in my pocket.
Yeah,
right?
She doesn't put it like in a jar or a box, like in her bra.
It's not even a bag.
Then,
cash up there, or cell phone.
The spirit monologues about the city on top of the building for a while. There's another inconsistency here, where he's holding a cat, and then it cuts to the city, cuts back to him, and the cat's just gone.
Oh, because he threw the cat off the building.
Oh, okay.
He did.
And then credits roll, and that is the fucking spirit. That is the movie.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, world. 2008.
Credits roll to Christina Aguilera singing "Falling in Love Again." The entire credit. It went through the whole song.
Wow. Not a lot of people worked on this movie.
Yeah, they didn't skip around.
It didn't require anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was intentionally green screened. That's no like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I mean, it took very little, but somehow, it cost $60 million. Probably
there was
just
the guy who used the black Sharpie and the guy who used the red Sharpie and then the person with the eraser tool.
Yeah. They have a production designer. He's like, all right, there's a scene at the end with the bad guys and they're really evil. What do you got? He's looking around the room. He's like, swastikas? Yes. Black, white, and red. This motherfucker. Sorry, I was imitating that Gremlin sketch that came through.
That's going in the movie.
That's in the movie. You're like a child. You just strung words together. It was like a Mad Lib electric gremlin.
So, all right. A few questions. Why is Sam Jackson called the octopus?
Because he has like ink coming from his eyes, but that's squids.
Yeah.
I'm sure originally in the comics it was that he was the head. Again, I'll use syndicate because that's the appropriate word for an evil organization. But I imagine that he had his tentacles in every sort of aspect of crime in the city.
Okay, I mean,
Frank Miller did nothing to help us out there.
He does say he has 8 of everything at one point.
Yeah.
He does.
8 of everything.
And after that, like Jude and I kept joking, it's got 8 toes, 8 penises, 8 cars, 8 pairs of underwear, 8 of everything.
How many of those goons did we see? We saw more than 8, right?
I have no idea. I assume
if we only saw 8, that would be a subtle detail, but I'm pretty sure that we saw like 12.
He has 8 of everything.
That's probably his love-hate relationship with eggs.
Yeah.
Because it's 12 of them.
Do octopuses hate eggs? Is that an octopus thing? I don't know.
Does this guy hate eggs or love eggs? I think he loves eggs.
Well, no, because he said no. He was like, no eggs. No eggs.
Well, because he says about the organic chicken, I hate those big brown eggs. I hate them.
Yeah,
thinking about them makes me
industrialized farming.
Yeah.
Right, but at his first egg line was like, I don't.
It's egg week.
It's egg week. Yes.
Cuckoo cachoo, everybody.
Sorry, Al.
He said, "There's nothing I like better than kicking your ass all night long, except maybe eggs."
Except maybe eggs.
So he loves eggs, but then later on he talks about all the negative aspects of eggs.
He shoots the goon because he got egg on his face.
Yes.
I hate having egg on my face.
He hates those ugly ass free range chicken eggs.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
Like a
hates
lot of
pearly-
Indians.
The pearly white eggs.
He
from,
hates them like Mr.
Okay.
T hates
I have a
coincidences.
theory. Maybe there were two
Right.
octopuses, and one hated eggs and one loved eggs.
Oh, maybe there were 8 octopuses. He has
You
8 of
say
everything.
egg,
Does that include
and I
himself?
say fuck eggs. Let's go.
Well, and then Jude asked me the question. So, did he get 8 of everything after he became the octopus, or did he become the octopus because he had 8 of everything?
And you'd think
I feel like this is a chicken and egg question itself.
You're right.
What year is this? There is a Nokia flip phone, like a keyboard
And
style.
they mentioned the
flips in
internet.
half.
Yes, they mentioned the internet. They're using the computers. There's a laptop. Yeah,
Which is fine. We've dealt with that before, where they've intermeshed old timey,
Yeah.
But Frank
Yeah.
Miller didn't have fun with that whatsoever.
No.
It's like I think even at the Mudflats, a cop is on like a receiver, and it looks like an old timey radio microphone.
Yeah.
And then later on, he mentions the internet, so it's just like so many
Yeah.
inconsistencies.
They could have been better at making it look old and modern at the same time.
I always thought pneumatic. Is that the word? Tubes.
Oh, yeah.
All throughout the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. For a weird semi-future.
Okay, so speaking of the phones, we see the spirit has a cell phone. He has a landline. He has an apartment.
Yeah, the octopus is registered with the IRS.
So he pays a phone bill. He has to pay his landlord. Like there's a name on the lease. Like
Yeah, it's exactly like Faye Dunaway in Supergirl. Like,
Yes.
she has an abandoned carnival, but she's paying utilities on it
yes.
in metropolitan Chicago.
Yes. And so also where does he get money? Is he employed by the police force? Do they pay him? If so, his name is on a paycheck and
Right.
the IRS knows it.
Yes, it was hard to figure out in what capacity he served the greater civil. He had handcuffs, and then he said he was going to arrest that person after he told us several times he's not a cop.
In the comics, the spirit funded his enterprises with first his inheritance from his father, Denny Colt Sr., and then from the rewards from catching criminals. I guess he would just get cash rewards.
Yeah. I mean, but there was none of that in the film.
Yeah, so he's like a bounty hunter.
Just saying.
Oh, I know. All right. So what's up with like these legendary Greek items that just exist in this world? We don't get like any background on that. We don't find out how they came to be in Central City.
Central City's downstream from
Greece?
the Peloponnesian
Greece. Yeah.
peninsula.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's the lost city of Atlantis. That's why it's so muddy.
Yeah. And it's called Central City. Is it in the center of the country? Is it like
it's in the middle of the world.
Yeah, but with
You know?
the ocean docks.
It's like El Centro, California. They just chose to be the middle of the world.
Yes, so much water in El Centro.
It could have been the middle of the coast.
the middle of the Atlantic seaboard?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can be in the center of lots of things.
Yeah. I'm in the center of everything in relation to myself. In relation to myself, I'm in the center of it. So all right. So if the spirit can just heal on his own, why does he even need the doctor?
For sex.
For boners, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, could you check my boner? Make sure it's still.
Don't worry about these wounds up
Horrific.
here, baby. And unzips. Yeah.
She puts her finger on his boner and then looks at her watch for a minute.
She's like, the chin checks out.
He's easy to please. He just wants the attention.
Taking its pulse.
And so can he just choose to die then? Because when he's injured and he like is like death is like come to me, like, so can he just choose to die?
Yeah, it's unclear. He seems cursed, but it's also explained that it's somewhat medically induced, his immortality.
A serum, yeah.
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 And he doesn't explain. I mean, he is kind of dressed like a Nazi, and they were famously into the occult. So I assume that it was like vampire blood that they injected into his penis.
They were threatening
the city. I don't
They were
know.
threatening castration. Are we going to split hairs here, dude?
Yeah.
They were Nazis.
Yeah. It's this whole thing is so weird. It doesn't make any sense.
This movie's insane and terrible. I don't know.
I think Frank Miller had photos of a studio exec on a boat with a kid. They're just sitting there, man.
And he's like, "That's my son. And it's a small world."
That's the. It's like I'm going to show everyone.
Any last thoughts, guys?
I just want to point out that Samuel L. Jackson at one point hits him with the toilet tank and said toilets are always funny. One reason, this is an anecdote, one reason this movie took me so long to get through is I've been repairing a toilet in my sister's room all day yesterday, and it was not funny. There was no humor in it whatsoever.
No, I had to replace a seal on a toilet once. That's not funny at all.
Even if you were watching me, it wouldn't have been amusing.
Yeah. Good point. Movie
I did
ruined.
drop a wrench on my face at one point. So that would have been
God.
It wasn't big.
Oh,
All right, no other
I was going to say we got a Samuel L. Jackson, almost a MFer when he gets blown up.
Oh, yeah.
Almost says it. That might be one of the funnier bits in this movie. You know, teasing
how
us.
lame was it? Yeah, that he almost said it on this motherfucking plane.
Yeah.
There was the scene in the mud flats during the battle where the spirit rises up out of the water like Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. It's just fucking terrible, man.
Oh, God.
He's got his hat on, though.
Yes.
Yeah, the hat seems to be important.
Yeah. And
what is his business suit? Because he never knows when he'll have a job interview. Just like Thoreau said, he's got to pay some bills.
He does. Yeah. I don't know. All right, you guys ready to rank it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Where are the Phantom and the Shadow? Because, like you said, it reminds me of that.
Let's see.
Shit, where they took something very, very old and ruined it.
Let's see. The Phantom and the Shadow. The Shadow is at number 67. The Phantom is
64.
64. There they are. They're kind of right there together. I personally think this is worse than either of them.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's worse than Batman and Robin.
Absolutely.
And
It's worse than Spawn.
And Toxie 3.
This might be worse than Catwoman.
I think it is worse than Catwoman, personally.
It's definitely on the same league. Where
Yeah.
you don't really understand the comic book or superhero choices they made, and you don't understand the story choices they made.
Quest for Peace. I mean, that's awful.
It's
this
in
might
that
be better visually than Quest for Peace.
It at least
So
is,
if it's amongst any of those.
yeah.
What, Thoreau?
I was going to say it is more visually interesting than Quest for Peace. Quest for Peace not only was a terrible movie, but it was also like an ugly movie.
Right. You're right. A lot of standing and talking.
Like
in a quarry.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thoughts, Al?
I could go at number 76 between Catwoman and Quest for Peace. That seems like a reasonable place.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively Catwoman or Catman.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'm with Al.
I was torn watching this because like half the time I was like, this is really fun and funny, and the other half was like, this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so putting it at that spot, I can live with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then. We'll put it at number 76 out of 80.
So he liked it as much as a dental checkup. It wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to me.
But it wasn't.
But the dentist made jokes while he was drilling.
Right.
There were cats in the examination room. I got hair in my mouth, but you know.
All right, so that's it. We are putting a lid on The Spirit, which means next week we are going to be watching our 81st movie, The Watchmen.
Oh, wow.
Hours.
So much. We'll have to
Hours.
decide which
That is a
edit.
long movie, yes, and a lot going on with it. That's it, guys. Join us next week for The Watchmen. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching Harmless Phosphorescence. Thoreau Smiley is dead.
I'm Josh Cece, and we may as well hold off and see if old Spankowitz's liver explodes.
Am I a crazy man? Am I a man at all? Am I even Brian Lesh?
I'm Alaric Weber, and I find myself craving eggs.
That's it, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.